Norse and Norse mythology, they are not adept. But Sarah, she will research, and Paul, he must accept. Yggdrasil is a glorious word, crush a whole mountain. Well, Thor's hammer could. These fables are bizarre, but good. It's understood.
They told me pa-rum-pa-pum-pum.
Oh, how interesting. A little drummer boy over here. Well, hello. That little drummer boy was the Paul Bianchi. I almost said your Twitter. Paul Bianchi.
No, it is the Paul Bianchi. I am here.
And I am one Sarah Oliver, one of several.
Are you? Wait, did you change your Twitter handle to being one Sarah Oliver?
Well, I am one of many. You know, there's more Sarah Olivers, and if our listeners have Googled, they might have seen the other one.
Oh, yeah.
From Bad Girls Club.
Bad Girls Club, Sarah Oliver.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, follow her.
Follow her
on Instagram, Twitter. Welcome to Myth Understood. We are a mythology podcast, and we are currently on Norse mythology, which I am researching and telling and regaling my darling best friend and companion and travel companion and worst nemesis, Paul.
Ooh. All of the above.
So my man, what do you think today's topic's going to be about?
I think it's going to be about Christmas.
How do you fucking know?
Well, tis the season.
How dare you? This was a surprise.
Is it
How
really?
dare you be right?
Is it really about Christmas?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what? I just sort of thought you might be seasonal because it's seasonal. I've said seasonal like 4 times now.
Well, guess what? It is about Santa Claus or Santa Claus, but it ties into Norse mythology.
Well, duh.
Fucking bitch. So I
mean, it'd be very weird if it didn't. It'd be like if you were like,
no, because this comes out Christmas Day. I could just talk about some Santa Claus myths.
Yeah.
But it ties into Norse mythology.
Sarah, before you jump into that, will you please tell me and everyone who's listening what gift you just received from producer Daddy Jake?
Oh, Daddy gave me a beautiful mug that says T-Rex, but it's a Tyrannosaurus Rex drinking tea.
Oh.
So it's a mug on a mug.
Now, please share with anyone who is listening the shirt that I gave you that you were wearing.
I am wearing a T-Rex Christmas shirt. My life is dinosaurs. And it's usually bought for me, but I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, just like last episode, I asked you to send me animal pictures. Please now send me dinosaur things in the mail.
I think that will happen.
Oh, please do it.
Did you see that that like piece of amber that was discovered recently that has a feathered dinosaur tail like perfectly intact in it?
Of course I did, Paul.
Okay.
I found that.
I forgot. Someone sent that to you.
In the mail. Okay, so let's talk about the real Santa.
Okay.
St. Nicholas.
Uh-huh.
Claus.
He's German in origin, right?
You'd be actually stupid wrong.
Whoa. All right, tell me how.
He's a Greco.
He's a Greco.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I am wrong.
He was a man, he lived from 270 to 343 AD.
Uh-huh.
And he was called St. Nicholas the Wonder Worker. He was thought to be a person who created many miracles. He was an early Christian bishop that very little is actually known about since he existed in those, that Roman tumultuous time where, shit's being stored on parchment and then being burned.
Yeah, no one uploaded it to the cloud.
No, they didn't. So even as regular St. Nick, a lot of, predating like Christmas time, a lot of myths and legends are associated with him because really it was kind of like, hey, do you know about this patron saint and this painting that still exists of him? Well, let me elaborate on it. Elaborate. A podcast on the Dragon Wagon radio station. So all of his myths about him as a saint even are fucking awesome.
Okay.
They're great. So Nicholas was born to a wealthy Greek Christian family, and he was an ordained priest by his uncle, bishop of the city Myra.
Okay.
When Nick's parents died, it is said he gave his riches to the less fortunate. In one story, Nick heard of a man with 3 daughters who had lost his money due to plotting and envy of Satan.
3 daughters lost his money?
No. He had 3 daughters,
Uh-huh.
and he lost his money, because of Satan plotting and being jealous.
Because the daughters were plotting with Satan.
No, nothing. No, the daughters didn't do shit wrong.
Okay.
He just has 3 daughters.
Okay, just unrelated.
And he had money.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's related. You'll see. The 3 daughters come into play.
Okay.
So he's poor. And the father could not afford a dowry for these 3 fancy young ladies, due to the devil plotting. So
What's the devil plotting?
I don't know what it means. It says the plotting and envy of Satan. So he lost his money, which probably means he gambled it away or he, spent money, snorted it. I don't know.
Okay.
So basically the guy lost all his money. He's like, it was that Satan.
It was
I
that
can't
Satan.
pay rent because that Satan guy.
Okay.
So he couldn't afford a dowry for his daughters, which, that's how you get rid of your children.
Mhm.
You sell them if they're women. So most likely outcome for his 3 daughters were what?
They all got pregnant.
Well, no, they were all going to eventually have to become prostitutes. That's he was like, look, ladies, that's just what's going to happen.
This is St. Nicholas's daughters.
No, this is a man. This is a random man.
A random man. Okay.
A random man.
I've been so lost this entire time.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, so a man
Uh-huh.
with 3 daughters lost all his money because Satan is jelly.
Okay.
And he tells his 3 daughters, here's the reality. I'm poor now. I don't have a dowry for you. Most likely you're going to have to hook it.
Can I name this man?
Yes.
Okay. He will be Gerald.
Gerald. So he gets a name later, too.
Oh,
I don't know why I winked at you, but
I know.
Okay. So they were like, oh man, I don't want to be a prostitute. Well, don't worry. Not an old St. Nick's watch. Nick wanted to help the
St.
family.
Nick's always on the lookout for prostitutes.
Nick wanted to help the family in secret one night, so he threw a purse filled with gold into an open window in their house. He did so again the next night and the next night.
Just each time hitting one of the daughters in the head.
Yeah, it was weird. Do it all at once. What are you doing? Maybe it was how you have an ATM withdrawal limit.
Oh, yeah. That makes
One
sense.
gold purse a day. So the 3rd night, the father caught St. Nick on the throwing that person, and the father fell to his knees and thanked him. St. Nick made him a pinky promise that he wouldn't tell anybody. He's like, I do this shit in secret. Don't you tell anybody that I'm this nice little rich boy.
He also does it wearing a weird little suit and on a rooftop with flora and fauna.
Interesting enough,
Or fauna.
this story has paintings of St. Nick climbing up the side of a house with a sack of gold as the 3 girls get on their jammies.
As the 3 girls
No,
go-
they're not naked. They're getting ready for bed.
Okay.
But take that image and have that imagery, right? A man climbing up a roof, kids going to sleep, okay? Boom. And then pretend.
Wait, they're kids and he's already thinking about their dowries?
Well, they're like teenagers.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's time to start selling your daughters.
Okay.
But they're going to have to hook.
Mhm.
So now, yeah, he's just fucking chucking heavy bags of gold in the house. There is another, I think you'll enjoy this one. There is another disputed tale of St. Nick attending the First Council of Nicaea.
Okay.
In 325 AD. He is said to have been vehemently against Arianism.
Vehemently?
Vehemently against Arianism. And he either open hand slapped or punched an Arian across the face. So let's hope this legend is true.
I'm not sure which one I like better because a slap is more insulting, but
Yeah.
a punch is more violent.
I think he slapped him.
Yeah.
Old St. Nick. So the way he became the patron saint of children is from another painting. Like I said, this artwork sort of existed. It came hundreds of years later, but it's from these myths. And then from the artwork came the other interpretations that are He's Santa Claus. Look at him climbing up, throwing stuff.
Did he have a white beard in these paintings?
No, he's like a young buck.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. So the way he became patron saint of children is from a painting of him standing over 3 children made in the early 1500s. Though it's a lovely painting, the story that goes with it is less charming. Legend has it that during a massive famine, an evil butcher lured 3 tiny children into his home. He murdered them and stored their remains in a barrel to cure them and eventually sell as ham.
Okay. Wait, who did this, by the way?
An evil butcher, also not St. Nick.
Okay. Again, I got confused again.
Oh, stop it.
You have to. That's why I always named
Santa,
these random characters.
Santa is going to be the hero in each of these stories, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So this is
evil butcher Mark.
Mark. Okay.
He's like, hey, nobody's coming to my store.
Well, maybe you should sell some child ham.
What? Child ham?
Child ham.
What does it taste like?
Child.
I love it. I'm going to sell it for $20 a pound. How many pounds you got on the babies?
I don't know anymore. Wait, are you St. Nick or are you Mark?
I'm Mark the
You're
butcher.
Mark. Okay.
See, I got a bad boy voice. Anyway, I'm going to put them in some barrels and pickle them.
Don't confess to me. I'll tell on you.
Into a barrel you go.
Oh, no.
Mother.
Oh, okay. So he pickled and sold his mom, too.
Yeah. So
Cannon.
Nick Cannon.
Uh-huh.
So St. Nick, who knows when you're, lying, came through town and saw through the butcher's bullshit. He was just rolling around. He's like, oh, there's a famine here. Sack of gold. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
But he was talking to the butcher, and the butcher's like, yeah, I got some ham in this barrel.
Why does this
Pickled ham.
Why does this ham why is there like a piece of like corduroy overalls on this piece?
That's what ham wears. You never been to a pig farm.
Why does this one have like human toes?
That's this little piggy went to the market. What else do you want from me, you son of a bitch? You want to buy some ham?
I mean, all of that holds up. Here's a bag of gold. Bye.
Bye. Come again. You're my favorite customer. So St. Nick was like, this is not pickled ham. These are pickled babies. And he resurrected the children in the barrel. So, yeah, because,
he has powers.
Of course he does.
He had like a purse of resurrection spells.
Apparently, he just did the sign of the crossover. So if anyone dies, just do it. Just do it.
Wow. Okay.
And they will not be ham anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure the butcher eviscerated these children, chopped them up real good. And then
so
he
they
goes
came
like
back
this.
as
They come back as kids.
Oh, they didn't come back as meat monsters then.
Well, isn't that what a child is? So they came back and are naked in the barrel. So there's a picture, there's a painting, and that was on stained glass windows and shit. It was very popular. And that's how it was interpreted that, oh, he's a patron saint of children, even though it's just one of many miracles that he was said to have done.
Gotcha.
So again, representation through art.
Mm-hmm.
Misrepresentation.
But I mean, it's not like he doesn't not endorse children.
He just doesn't like ham babies. I think that's really it. So all of these stories eventually gave us
when
the
I
Santa
order
Claus.
ham, I want it to be ham.
Not a ham baby. That's too salty. I've tried. So these stories gave us the Santa Claus we know today. But in many cultures, Santa has and still has some very scary companions.
Mm-hmm.
St. Nick's Day to shine was traditionally on December 6th, actually, in them Germanic areas.
Uh-huh.
That was his feast day, St. Nicholas' feast day. His secret gift giving usually meant a coin in your shoe if you left your shoe out for him.
Uh-huh.
And regions that were influenced by the Romans, where they were
Sarah, did you know that
stabbing.
before you researched this about the shoe thing?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh! So I had a kindergarten teacher who had us celebrate St. Nicholas's Day.
Oh wow!
And we all put our shoes out in the hallway, and then we came back from the research lab. There was candy in our shoes.
It is always so fun to be reminded that you grew up in the 1655.
Yeah.
Every story you tell me from elementary school, I'm like, oh yes. And then you were swatted for being bad.
hmm And then we hung out in the hawthorn and mulberry patch.
And then a man put you in a barrel, pickled you.
And that's how I stayed young.
So yeah, the Roman influenced areas had their own little variations of St. Nic and his different kind of companions. So let's start with what I would call the worst one. I think most people will call this the worst one.
Is it the blackface one?
Of course.
Okay.
Zwart Piet or Black Pete. Very controversial guy. He's still used in festivities by the Dutch because they're like, what? It's so fun. And you're like, guys, stop it. You were two balls deep in slavery to think this is funny.
Yeah.
Knock it off. And they, I'm part Dutch, so the self-loathing is deep. So he is a black Moor from Spain, and he carried a birch rod to beat the naughty children. And, he might throw him in his sack and take him back to Spain, whatever, depends. But in the 20th century, these punishments were abolished, and Zwart Piet became a smiling pal of Santa. Still, it was like a very offensive representation,
Yeah.
big drawn on lips.
Yeah,
and-
I've seen people dressed as him for the celebrations, and it's not like they're not even trying to make themselves look like an actual person of Moorish descent. Like they're doing
blackface.
The color black.
And they say it was like obviously all bad things come back to America. Partly it blew up because American minstrels too. So
Right.
cool. But yeah, obviously there's been more and more protests of like, hey, there are people of color that live out here. Could you not?
Yeah.
So I think sensitivity around that is growing. Just Google Black Pete and you'll get why he should be canceled.
Mhm.
But then the rest of them are pretty fun. I say Le Pierre Foutard, the whipping father.
Okay.
He's basically a mythical version of the butcher.
Oh, so he gets to live on.
He does get to live on.
Why?
So he's a butcher, or in some tales, an innkeeper that grabbed the children on their way to school to rob and murder them, as we know. But in this version, Nick resurrects the children and he forces the butcher to be his servant. So the whipping father whips and spanks naughty kids as he travels with Santa. And he normally looks like a man with a scary pointed face and dark scraggly robes with a long beard.
So he was like, Mark, I like you. Like what you did was shitty, but you know what you like, and you like hurting children.
Look,
And-
you got a special skill. I got a special skill, Santa. What you wanna give coins to the nice kids? I can get those naughty kids. I can pickle them.
No, all right. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna give you a whip. I'm gonna give you a cudgel. I want you to beat and maim these kids.
And then pickle them.
But if you pickle them,
What?
it's back to hell with you.
Fuck. My whole life has been about pickling. I'm the butcher that pickles. You can't find fresh meat in my store. Just try. It's all fermented. Okay. So he did get to live on. Good for Mark. Okay, next we have a man named Nick Rupert.
Is it just Nick Rupert?
It's Knecht.
Oh, okay.
Ruprecht.
Wait, let me read it.
Don't read anything else.
Okay.
It's in bold. Because I make all of my notes look like school reports.
Oh, Knecht Ruprecht.
Knecht Ruprecht.
Okay.
He's from German folklore, as you could tell.
Uh-huh.
Those just very harsh consonants all smushed up together. Basically, it means farmhand Rupert or servant Rupert because, Santa's surrounded by servants. Another homie of St. Nick.
Is he sweet?
He's possibly the most familiar to people. Tradition says that he was a man with a long beard. Santa likes his beard bros. He wears fur. And and he can be covered in straw too. Can be in either or, but can be both. It's fashion.
Fur or straw. Got it.
And straw. He carried a long staff and a bag of ashes. And he wore little bells on his clothes so you could hear him when he was sashaying your way.
Why did he carry ashes?
Well, according to tradition, he asks children whether they know their prayers. And if they do, they get great stuff like gingerbread and fruits and nuts. And if they don't, he beats the children with the bag of ashes.
Yeah, I'm trying to imagine it, and it would just be like there would just be such a plume, unless it was like an airtight bag.
No, I think it's a mess.
Yeah.
And then in more modern versions, Kanak Rupak gives naughty children gifts of the lump of coal we know about and sticks, and he gives sweet kids some candy. And he's also known to give, naughty kids a fucking stick in their shoe.
A stick in their shoe?
Yeah.
For them to discover when they put their shoes on.
Yeah.
Ouch.
He sometimes walks with a limp because of a childhood injury. I could not find what the childhood injury was.
Oh, he was just, he used to be on the gymnastics team. And he
tried to go gold. That was his big
twisted
moment.
his ankle on the dismount on the parallel bars.
Exactly. But he still is good at acrobatics because he has black clothes and a dirty face, and that's usually because he goes down chimneys.
I'm glad you ended that with chimneys.
What did I say?
It was just such a long because he goes down. I was like, on whom?
Some dirty little pussy.
Oh boy, there it goes.
Santa's wife.
Merry Christmas.
So usually in the tradition of this little weird guy, the children would be summoned to the door to perform tricks and do dancing and singing and impress upon Santa and Rupert that they were good kids. And those that performed well were given a gift and some candy. But those that were sucked or committed misdeeds throughout the year were put into his sack and taken away.
The sack is already full of ashes, though.
Usually to his home in the Black Forest to be consumed later or to be tossed into a river.
Okay.
In other versions, the children had to be asleep and would awake to find their shoes filled with, good stuff or garbage. But I like the version where they get thrown into a river. I think it's sweet.
Yeah, that's a sweetie little Ruprecht.
Now, next we have Belsnickel,
Belsnickel.
a companion of St. Nicholas. It's either a man or a woman. Can be either. Wearing fur, which covers the entire body in a torn, dirty clothing, and sometimes wears a mask with a long tongue. Carries, of course, a Switch, not Nintendo, a big old stick.
Okay.
And pockets are full of sweets for the good kids. It's pretty scary because he comes around Christmas time and delivers socks and shoes full of candy. But if the kids sucked, they'll find coal or switches in their stockings instead. He tends to travel alone, giving gifts or punishment. But in Austria, Krampus might be with him.
Oh. So the big tongue, though, is not for licking anything? Probably for stamps.
Yeah. So in parts of the United States, actually, Belsnick came on over and were maintained for a long time by the immigrants and went as far west as Indiana. People in Pennsylvania still do it, even.
I think that Pepsi should have tried to co-opt Belsnickel the way that Coca-Cola co-opted Santa Claus.
Ba, 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 don't get the switch. Drink Pepsi or you'll get beaten. God, it's the only way they can make a comeback. So there's a firsthand, this is a great diary entry from this 19th century book called Brown's Miscellaneous Writings, a collection of essays by Jacob Brown. This writing period is around 1830, and he says, "We did not hear of Santa Claus. Instead, the tradition called for a visit by a different character altogether. He was known as Christkinkel, Belsnickel, and sometimes as Christmas Woman. Children then not only saw the mysterious person, but felt him or rather his stripes upon their backs with a switch. The annual visitor would make his appearance some hours after dark, thoroughly disguised, especially the face, which would sometimes be covered with a hideous, ugly fizz. I don't know what that is. Generally wore a female garb, hence the name Christmas woman.
It's Pepsi Bubbles.
Sometimes it would be a veritable woman, but with masculine force and action. So me. He or she would be equipped with an ample sack about the shoulders filled with cakes, nuts, and fruits, and a long hazel switch, which was supposed to have some kind of charm in it as well as a sting. It would scatter the goodies upon the floor, and then scramble would begin by the delighted children. And the other hand would ply the switch upon the backs of the excited youngsters who would not show a wince, but had it been parental discipline, there would have been screams to reach a long distance. So just, here, kids, eat this candy as I whip your backs.
Well, I mean, I got nothing for that.
So on the south shore of Nova Scotia, Canada, there's still bell snickling, too. It's basically where people go house to house within the communities dressed in a bunch of different clothes with scarves around their faces to conceal their identity. They're then given food and drinks, usually like booze or eggnog, until their identities are guessed, and then they're off to the next house. So it's like silent Christmas caroling.
Okay.
And then, of course, we are getting to the scariest of all St. Nic's companions. That is
Omarosa.
the one with the biggest popularity worldwide.
Oh. Justin Bieber.
Fuck you. What?
Krampus.
Krampus! So the name Krampus comes from the old German word for claw. He's scary. He's been described as looking like a demon with long horns, and he kind of looks like a goat too, but he stands on 2 feet. Sometimes he has razor-sharp teeth and a long, forked tongue.
And he has his own movie with Jason Bateman.
It's not good.
I did not see it.
Krampus, he rolls around with St. Nic. But also, sometimes he's alone, wearing a cowbell to warn people of his approach. Get away from me. And chains that basically say he's bound to hell.
He doesn't like crowds, so he just wants everyone to stay away.
It's actually true. If you're in his way in a parade, if you're a kid, he'll start throwing his chains your way to get you the fuck out of his path. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how he rolls. So again, he has a bag and some branches for the bad kids. They'll be given the switch, or sometimes carried off to the underworld, whatever. Typically, he has the chains and the birch branches that he uses to swat at kids, and he rushes at kids, during parades. But sometimes he carries the bag or a wash tub on his back to cart off the bad kids to drown, eat, or transport to hell.
Transported to hell in a wash tub?
I guess.
You kid, get in this bathtub.
Oh, but I'm not dirty.
Get in. It's a one-way ticket to hell.
How?
Well,
Is it my portal, or do I go down the drain, or are you going to push me in this?
I'm not here to explain the complexities of interdimensional travel to you.
Will I be home for dinner?
You will, Jimmy, but your sister Tara, she's dead.
It's a Krampus miracle! So since the 1800s, people have been using Krampus as sort of like an anti-Christmas spirit, probably to balance out the saccharine bullshit that Christmas has become. I love Christmas, but I get it. Krampus cards are sent, and on December 5th, Krampusnacht, big parties are held with bonfires. I would love to go to one of those. That sounds fucking awesome. Like a crazy beach bonfire where you run around celebrating Krampus.
Let's do it.
Carting each other around in bathtubs.
We still have time. We have recorded this in advance.
It's not December 5th.
Oh, do we have to do it December 5th?
No, I think Krampus is always in your heart.
I think so too. Let's do it like May 12th.
Okay. You guys make us accountable. Remind us the week before. This scary horned creature, he's mostly in Austria, Germany, but thanks to, a bunch of Hollywood bullshit, he's everywhere. His influence is spreading. It comes out of pagan tradition, but it's also related to Norse mythology. And just how do you think that is, Paul?
So Krampus in particular is related to Norse mythology.
Krampus in particular.
So are the rest of them not related to Norse mythology?
I mean, they're all Germanic, Scandinavian, paganism shit, but no. Krampus is specifically associated with Norse mythology.
I mean, if he's goat-like, I feel like he's got to be related to Thor in some way.
You would be wrong.
Okay.
He is the son of Hel, who is the daughter of Loki, the guardian of the underworld, which is why he's dragging kids back. She's like a nice person, but they all have their demon babies, and they're like, demon baby gotta eat.
And Hel is like, I just want my wish for my son is for him to be festive.
Yeah. I mean, that might be why she has the chains. Like, stay down here.
Yeah.
And he breaks out and he goes to eat babies. And she's like, what are you going to do? Kids, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to discipline nowadays.
It is.
And then a days.
And then a days.
Uh-huh.
But yes, Google each of these characters because the images are horrific. And I'll also...
Is Krampus's name Krampus in Norse mythology?
Yeah.
Oh. I did not know that either.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's any actual myths. It just says he's the daughter of Hel. The son of Hel.
The son of Hel.
Yeah.
Well, he can be whoever he wants to be.
Yeah, exactly. But that is Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas.
Oh, how do you think you spell Sinterklaas?
Sinterklaas? Probably with 6 Y's and a 6.
SIN, sometimes 2 N's, TERKLAAS.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Sinterklaas.
Sort of like how you pronounced it.
Yeah, Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas.
Sinterklaas. So that is our holiday Saint Nic and Companions episode. We hope you all have a beautiful holiday, no matter where you are and no matter what you celebrate. You are our Krampus miracles. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Coming this December 5th and 6th only.
From the producers of Now That's What I Call Music, Volume 312. It is
Santa's Companions songs. Darkness inside you.
and love all around.
First song up is Don't Get the Switch.
Don't get the switch.
Don't get the switch. Don't get the switch. Don't get the switch. It will hurt your back. Do not get the switch. Try to get some candies instead. You're drowning in a bag.
And of course, let's not forget that timeless classic, Belsnickles coming to town.
You better watch out. You better not cry. You better be a good boy. I tell you why. Snick will whip you. And you put you in a bag and drown you in the river.
God, we would share so much more with you, but we don't want to ruin it.
We wish you a Merry Krampus. We wish you a Merry Krampus.
We really don't want to. We don't want to ruin it.
Get in this bathtub.
Well, thank you for sharing this Christmas miracle, Sarah.
Yeah, dog. If you want to follow us, and you better get.
Whoa, she's getting
Get
surly.
on.
She's had too much eggnog.
At _mythunderstood on Twitter and Instagram. Follow my boy Bianchi here at the Paul Bianchi on Twitter and Instagram, and get up my butthole at the Sarah Oliver Twitter and Instagram.
Wow. If you want to follow our daddy network, which is Dragon Wagon Radio, you can follow us at It's Dragon Wagon on Twitter and Instagram. And you can continue to show your support on our Patreon and as well as checking out the shop at dragonwagonradio.com.
Or you can just personally Venmo me
Dinosaur things.
$100,000.
In dinosaurs.
Or your wife gets it. You have by midnight.
Wow. That's a threat. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
It's Dragon Wagon,